They say a picture speaks 1,000 words, and this one, there's so much that you could say in regards to this. I think Joe Rogan's given this look to Meslier a few times. Pascal Stroud doesn't look happy. We could dissect this picture. The fans, this isn't even the whole picture, people. Joe Ruffwell, kid in the crowd with his head in his hands on temples, face palms. A man here going, oh, not again. You can already hear it. You can hear what he's saying. Oh, FFS. Byram in disbelief. Dan James thinking, is this Hull all over again? Picture speaks 1,000 words, people. And that is only some of it. That is only some of it, people. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Paul Finch. I've always told you, Paul Finch, whenever I see your name, I think of American Pie. Salute to you. Said it wasn't going to ruin my Saturday, but it absolutely did. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I did other things that made me happy. And, you know, I had a good rest of the evening, relaxed and chilled out and everything. But the result is still annoying me. I'm not going to hide it from you. I'm not going to tell you to move on because I cannot believe we did not beat Swansea City at home. But the numbers should tell you something, and that is why Scott Steiner graces the thumbnail today, because Daniel Farke, after the game, has come out with some, for me, insane statements at this stage of the season. We are primed to be memed again, not our first time, and it won't be our last being Leeds United. But he didn't have to say some of the things he said, and we're going to get into those comments today. You talk too much. He never shuts up. Yeah, you got it. You got it, Darren. But we're going to speak about that. Look, the intro is not the usual intro today because this is not really like a usual show for me. This is going to be one where we have to look at the comments from the manager and think, what in the world are you thinking? It's as simple as that. What are you thinking with the comments you've made after the game? In a game that we did not win, by the way. Look, like the video, you know the drill. Drop your comments below. And yeah. Salute to all, you know, members of the channel. New member again, Submahana. Thank you for rejoining. And super thanks from Malcolm, Patrick, and William Morrison. Thank you for the support. It does mean a lot. Jay Racer saying here, I was even angrier today when I saw Farke's 100% certain comments. We're going to get into that for sure. But that is crazy within itself, but there was more to it. There was more insane comments as well. Dino, yeah, I wish just that Farke just owned his failures. He is as much to blame for the poor form. He never will. Never will. And the moment that he does that, I will be shocked. I will be absolutely stunned, because if we do fail to go up this season, which I'm still hoping, touch wood, and everything else, that we do go up, he will have a whole bucket of excuses, a whole bucket, like he did last season. And I even said in the pre-match press conference for this game, check the preview. I said it on there. I didn't like what he said about some of the guys that left last summer, that a few of them already knew that they would have Premier League moves ready, even if Leeds didn't go up. You're once again just owning your own failures there, because if that was the case, if you felt they weren't given 100%, which is not true, by the way, Jorginho had a hernia surgery and was playing with that after straight away. He didn't give him a break. Somerville was still scoring goals for us. Archie Gray was still doing his best. If you did feel that, take them out the team then, if they weren't fully committed. That's on you. You had Connor Roberts, you had Jaden Anthony, you had Charlie Creswell, who was biting, chomping at the bit to get a start. You had options. You didn't use them. You were still playing Patrick Bamford, who by then had gone stone cold. He wasn't in form at all. He was just like a cone up there. It's on you. It's on you to get the best out of the squad. And he's doing it again. He's doing it again. Honestly. Matt here saying, devastated me yesterday. Deja vu from last season. Yep. Crazy with that deja vu spelling. But I got you, Matt. We need grit and got more like what you find at the bottom of a birdcage. Tremendous. Yeah, not convinced about him. Yeah, he doesn't. But look, where do I start with this? Where do I start with this? I mean, honestly, this picture is, and that's why I always say they could come out this week and say they fully back him. They haven't done that so far this season, by the way. Even after Sunderland, after Hull City, they haven't, you know, the captain hasn't come out with his team making a statement, because Ethan doesn't run that his own socials, and said, we are 100% behind everyone. I don't care about those hollow words. I couldn't give two stuffs about hollow words. Your actions speak louder than words for me, and that has always been the case. Their lack of faith in Meslier is evident in this picture alone. And I know I'm still here, people. I will move on, but look at the crowd. Look at this. Look at the guy's face here. He's like, what? Not again. Look at it. Yeah. Strouk, Roden, crestfallen. I mean, Joe Roden looks like, I'm gonna see you after this game, Elan, and it's gonna be on like a neck bone. You know what I mean? But look, where do we go next? Where shall we go next? Right, let's go into the comments. And I know I lightly touched on these at the end of the video, but we're gonna go deeper today. Pause. But we're gonna talk about it. Dave said here, sorry, David, I should say. I said I wouldn't get so emotionally involved this season, but they've done it to me again. Thoroughly ruined my weekend again. I think promotion is gonna Farke has to take the blame. Meslier, hey, listen, look, we're all here. We're all here feeling the way we have about that result because we care. What I always say to people is you can't turn it on and off. I wish you could, but you can't. For Daniel Farke, and he also said something about Meslier we're going to get into a bit. These guys will move on, and this will be a distant memory to them. They won't care. That's why it always baffles me to the core of me when people back individuals over the club. I will never understand it. I will never understand it. I don't care who the individual is. If you're not looking out for your club first because you've got an affinity or feel something for a manager or a player, I do question it. Obviously, there must be something missing in your life where you have to attach to a person over the club you support. But I just don't understand that mentality. Never will. Never will. You have to be thinking what's best for the club. But let's get into his comments. I read this one yesterday, but I'm going to go to the last sentence. We have had late winners and made others feel the way we feel today. Daniel, we're supposed to make others feel that way. We're the best team in the league, one of the best teams in the league. We're supposed to make them feel like, oh man, we're going to come away with a point here, or we've come away with 3 points and then we've stuck them at the end with last minute equalizer and then last minute winners. We've done it on a few occasions this season. We're supposed to give people heartbreak. We're the big dogs in the league. We're supposed to make teams think, man, we're going to come away with a point. This is an absolutely amazing result, only for our quality that we have in this team to shine through and take it all away. We shouldn't be feeling this way. We're feeling this way because something or some things have gone wrong in the game as to why we have not beaten Swansea City at home. That's the truth. That is the truth of what you've said in that last sentence right there. Moving on. This here, I mean, Lord have mercy. Cannot explain the first goal. You can explain it, but you don't want to talk about it. Started strong, but not at our best. But when the team has one session together, 12 players away, it's not always at our best in possession. Right. So what he's saying a couple of things here. He's either saying a couple of two things, right? Or a few things here. When the team has one session together, Daniel, do you not know your players already? Have you not done enough training sessions this season to know that, oh, we've got an international break here, guys. Let's pre-plan for this one. Take some homework away on Swansea and do this in between when you can. Our team, our coaching staff that are left at Thorpe Arch with the players that are left available, we're going to do this. We've got this together. And then we're going to integrate some of the players that are fit enough to play to come back and play. Is that not what it is? Was it a surprise? This international break a surprise? It wasn't a surprise to me. I knew it was coming. And so did everybody else. So you're going to use that we had one session together as the reason why the passing was so disjointed yesterday. There was a lack of energy in the team as well. Final third decisions just appalling overall. Goalkeeper a shambles. It's because of one training session. So in that instance, because we've got so many internationals in comparison to other team, if we were to go up, does that mean that when we have a game against, let's say, a fellow promotion rival, Sheffield United, let's say we've got a game straight after an international break, is that going to be an issue then because we'll probably have more internationals than them? Are we saying that you need your players in order to know them 24/7? It's a stupid statement for me. It's a cop out, because in that pre-match press conference, he was very confident when the reporter said, four home wins, does that do it for you, Daniel? He had a nice smile on his face, and he says 4 home wins and you know, try not to lose away games and everything else like that. But he was very confident. For me, he was quietly confident we would win this game. And the post match comments for the Swansea shows me he is feeling pressure. And that's what it is, Ryan. It's excuses. Plain and simply put, he was making a whole bunch of excuses. And by the way, players coming back off international duty, I just want to turn your minds to Brighton Forest. And people going, wait a minute, Cage, where are you going with Brighton Forest? Estepinian had come back from international duty Thursday, as did Murillo for Forest on both teams, and they played 120 minutes. That's the level. And if that's going to be an issue for us in the championship, is that going to change so much in 3 months when we do, if we do eventually go to the Premier League? Just excuses. So, sorry, I can always go back to things and point certain things out where you can pick a hole in something that he said. Poor excuse. Moving on from that, when you can see like this, subs made an impact. Yeah, that Al played a back pass for the corner. I want to go on to that because, yeah, Ian, he will blame the 12:30 kickoff against Luton next week. Please just resign. Yeah, we'll speak about that, of course. Al played a back pass for the corner. Actually, I don't need to do this now. We can do this in a bit because he contradicts himself in the comments after the game as well. For 1 or 2 days, we will suffer. About the time zones, yep, he's saying about them not being able to do it, but I've just shown you other players that could. But I do understand it from another angle, so I won't completely hammer him for that. Nanto, oh yeah, the Nanto thing. I mean, it was inevitable he would say this, and I said this in previous videos when Nanto got injured. I said this was going to be perfect now for Daniel Farke to say, oh yeah, I was close to starting Willie Nanto, but he got injured, so I couldn't play him. It's so obvious. Honestly, it's not even like hard to try and work out. It was obvious he was going to say it, and this is the beautiful thing about doing videos. All my evidence is here. I'm on the screen. You can hear me. I've said this already. He was going to say, oh yeah, Willie had a chance of starting. Get out of here. He was never. Who is he going to take? Whose place was he going to take? Solomon's? No. Was he going to take Brendan's? No. After he said that Brendan recharge. Was he going to take Dan James's place, who again played longer than he should have yesterday after another poor game from DJ? No. So where was Willie going to start? He's talking rubbish. All right. Oh, sorry, William. Hold your players account and yourself accountable. Not too much to ask. It's a lot to ask for some people when they're just highly stubborn. Highly stubborn. Now here it is. I am far and away, but thank you for the donation, William. Means a lot, man. Thank you. I am far away from punishing a player on camera or in a press conference. Everyone can see what has happened. It is not the time for comments on this when everyone is emotional after a draw like this. Well, I've just scrolled past him talking about Al's back pass that led to the corner, and it was a bad one, but it shouldn't have mattered. We should have taken care of it. And this is what I talk about with this goalkeeper, making things that shouldn't be talking points become talking points. The other week when Brendan Aronson made that back pass and it led to a goal for QPR, someone in the chat and in the comments said, I don't know how you're not putting it more on Meslier. And I said, it's on Brendan Aronson for making that horrific back pass and, creating a scenario out of nothing. It's cause and effect. If he doesn't pass it back there, QPR don't score. But the reason why I said what I said is because I don't trust Meslier and I don't expect him to save a shot when it's right in front of him. So I certainly don't expect him to save a shot when it's got some unexpected things to it, like an unexpected back pass, a first-time shot when he's not in position. I can't expect him to save that. So that's where my expectations are for this goalkeeper. If it's straight at him, he's probably got a chance of getting something on it. Whether it stays out or not is a whole different question. But I don't believe in Meslier like that to expect him to save it. It was a decent shot, but does a better goalkeeper have better position? You're absolutely right. But this is in terms of Daniel Farke saying that he won't punish Meslier on camera. He literally just said it about Al. And the thing is, you could say that when he did it with Joe Rodon before, remember last season when Joe Rodon got sent off and he benched him for a game against Southampton, which we lost. He said it was because Rodon got sent off. By the way, I'll never forget why Rodon got sent off in that game, because he was doing two players' jobs. He was doing his job and he was doing Luke Ayling's job, who was absolutely horrendous in that game. So he was being pulled apart through the center, through right back, and he had to do two people's job, and he got 2 yellow cards for that game. So it wasn't that he just made he made a bad decision, but it wasn't for no reason. But he punished him for that. And you're thinking, okay, you're not with this sentence, you're saying, I'm not going to say anything about a player on camera, but you've just done it for how? And also earlier this season, you did it for Manor Solomon when he slipped against Burnley. So he's a hypocrite. But I always say everyone's a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. Everyone's got hypocrisies. You just have to just know when you are a hypocrite and own it. But he's bad for this one. And I want the journalists to stay on him in the next press conference about Meslier. I want them to stay on it because it will be a few days from there and we'll get into another comment in a bit. It will be a few days from the game. I want to know what Farke and Meslier are doing. I want to know. We already heard, by the way, remember when he made that basic save when it was straight at him and the socials, Leeds United socials were posting it. Oh my God, Iceman is back. We already heard after that one, oh, Meslier's done extra work with the goalkeeping coach. Fast forward to Hull City when he makes that massive clanger. We don't hear about no extra work. We don't hear nothing. We don't hear anything. By the way, Elan Meslier alone this season, and you guys can probably, point out to some more. Not only has he done the Sunderland gaff where it bounces off and makes Junior Firpo look like a bad guy because he expects his goalkeeper just to gather a simple ball. Yeah, Firpo was the bad guy in that one. Not only does he bat one down against Hull City when the ball's going out of play and he puts it in the Hull City player's path and we lose a 3-1 lead because of him. Not only does he then, against Sheffield United, start the game off so shaky that the ball is trickling across the line away from the goal, only for him to claw it back in for an own goal. He then adds this one to his catalogue. And I'm not even talking about the last goal where it's at an acute angle. He's got his angles covered, gets on his skinny little wrist and goes in, because there's many of those. It also happened, I think it happened at Preston as well. There's many. This guy has got a catalogue of errors. And the manager, because he has said this in January, Baron actually mentioned it earlier, that this guy is the number one. And the way that this manager's mind is, because he doesn't want to be proven wrong, he will not take him out the firing line. He won't. Yeah, 2 games against Portsmouth this season, yeah. And Carlos saying he's done at least 11 points. Yeah, I've seen somewhere between 11 and 14. Carlos, Guy Location, he's saying 16. But it's guaranteed, people, that the amount of points that this goalkeeper has cost us is in double figures. Meanwhile, James Trafford and Cooper at Sheffield United are keeping their teams in games, saving penalties, and then not having disasters after them. Simple facts. And I'll repeat it again. My partner, she supports Sheffield United, and there's many other Sheffield United fans and Burnley fans that said this thing. Even Sunderland fans said it when they were in the race. The best signings that they made was that Elan Meslier stayed as number 1 at Leeds United, and they weren't wrong. They weren't wrong. How can this man have so many chances in this one season alone? Never mind last season. In this one season alone, after the catalogues of errors he has shown, to have this unwavering faith from the manager, it astounds me. Like, it absolutely blows my mind. He should be nowhere near this football club. Once again, I'm on video, I'm on camera. You can hear my voice. I said it before the window opened. I gave you scenarios of what you could do with getting rid of this goalkeeper to bring in a Jason Steele on loan from Brighton. Even if you have to buy him permanently, he's not a bad backup to have in the Premier League at all. There were options out there you got, but instead, because this manager doesn't want to be proven wrong, he's our number 1. You don't change your goalkeeper when you're top of the league. We'd be the first team to do that, but we'd also be the first team to have a goalkeeper that individually performs below average at the top of the league. He also missed that part out. It comes to the point where, as I say, I can't be arsed with Meslier, and he's going to do it again. We got 7 games left. He's going to have other errors. Joe Roden knows it. Strauch knows it. The fans behind that goal knew it. They know it's coming again. They know it. It's on Daniel Farke to take him out, but he's not going to do it. So we're going to have to. I say this all the time as well. I have no confidence in this goalkeeper. I always think when the opposition go forward, no matter how poor they are, I think they've got a chance of scoring if they get a shot on target. And that is why Yes, our latest collapse in our form is bad, but our outfield players have done more than enough in protecting this goalkeeper through the season. For him now just to step up and say, you know what, guys, you've had me for all the season. I've got you now. I've got you. But it doesn't work like that with him. Listen, Liam here saying, after the away win at the Blades, I thought Farke got it right for promotion, even though Meslier had a shocking first half. But he seems to have lost the plot yet again. He's thrown promotion away. Well, that's a nice little segue into this, because someone left a comment yesterday, and I absolutely, I agree with it. It's like, did they think after Sheffield United the job was done? LUFC data here pointing out championships won by the current top three since Sheffield United won Leeds 3 on February 24th. Burnley and Sheffield United with 13 points, Leeds with 6. 6 points in this division. We're not talking Premier League, people. We're not talking anything here. We've got 6 points from the last 15 available. It's shambolic. It's absolutely shambolic. It's appalling. It's appalling form. Sometimes you get lost for words, and look at the results. I want people to. It's funny. I've mentioned this in a few videos, and no one's come back in the comments since they said it. There were people that were saying that the point at home against West Brom wasn't a bad result. And go back to my match reaction. I said it was a terrible result. You cannot be drawing at home to West Brom after you've had the 2 results you've had. You're supposed to ride that wave. And then if something goes wrong in the Portsmouth game, I kind of understand it. You know what? Just like with this last set of fixtures that we had for the last 8 games, 7 now, I understood if we go to Luton and something happens there, because our early kickoff form, Luton's close enough to London. It's on the outskirts. It's London, basically, isn't it? There's a recipe there for us to mess up in that game, no matter how poor Luton have been this season. But I expected us to get the job done at home in the remaining games. And already we've fallen behind the 8 ball. But look at these results. Portsmouth away. By the way, Portsmouth, since they beat us, they've been getting beaten left, right, and centre. We get the win against Millwall, and even that there, and I go back again to the match reaction. I said there were red flags in that 2-0 win where it was like, wait a minute, some of these players look tired, man. We could have rested a couple for this one in order for the QPR game in the next one, because I think we could have probably rested a couple and then gotten back for the QPR game, and we didn't do that. We then draw 2-2 with QPR, which is, again, absolutely horrendous result. And now we've drawn at home against Swansea, and we're starting to leak goals now. And we saw this happen at the end of last season, where all of a sudden the defense and midfield weren't protecting Meslier enough, and then the goal started to just go in. The goal difference as well, by the way, now, which was, like an extra point for us, it's being chipped away at by Burnley. It's being chipped away. We was comfortably ahead, but now we are what is that? 9? Is that 9 plus 9 on the goal difference now? The way we're going, that's going to be gone soon if we carry on in this vein. Matt saying here, you have to try and be jovial, otherwise depression sets in. Yeah, I'm not going to get depressed, but I'm just very disappointed, because I can accept a blip, and I said this as well. If that was our blip before the international break, great. Okay, cool. You've got it out of your system. Let's go after the international break now and get it done in these 8 games. And so far, we're not doing it. We look exactly the same as we did before the break. No changes. Yeah, Jack is saying we're not having a blip, we're collapsing again. I can't believe it. The only thing with that, Jack, is I can only hope you're wrong. I can only hope you're wrong, but I'm not going to argue against it, because the numbers don't lie, as Big Scott would say. The numbers don't lie. They don't. By the way, we're not finished with his comments. You all thought that was it. We ain't done yet. It ain't over. All right, we're going back into the comments. Okay, we're going to go into that in a bit. Right, I don't know which one to go with first. Let's go into the 100% in the Premier League, and I'm going to go to Popey here, because he's got a follow up here. What he also said as well. This is it. It's in the title of the video, so it's not a secret. Farke said this after this game: "I'm 100% with next season we will play in the Premier League." Now, there's a couple things wrong with this. Now, I know some of you will, because you guys have watched me for a long time, saying, "But Cage, you like that kind of mentality where people say you're going to do it." I do, but I prefer what he said previously in the pre-match press conference, where he says the only aim and the only thing that we want to do this season is get promoted. For me, when you're in the bad run of form that I've just pointed out, to say this kind of thing is insane. It's insanity to say this kind of thing. You're not doing anybody any favors. Now, one of two things can happen. We do go up, and he can say, "Look, I told you, I was confident. It was a bad run, and I knew we'd be in the Premier League." You've got that. Second thing is, if we fail again like last season, remember last season he said you can either be a believer or a moaner or a doubter. Yeah, and look how that turned out for him. This one though is 100% meme material. And listen, it's not our first time. We've been mean before. Leeds are falling apart again. The old Gaviscon badge that went out. We're not new to this, but this brings up a whole new one. If we fail to go up this season, it will just be the cherry on the cake for me, because every fan of a rival club or everyone around the world will be coming back to this court and saying, "Oh yeah, Leeds did this. They're falling apart again." He's just put on unnecessary pressure on everyone to get promoted. There was already pressure anyway, and you can see that in some of the players' performances, by the way, and some of them aren't handling it very well. There was already pressure. This does nothing, because you don't even see this. If we had won 6 in a row, he wouldn't say this. He would just say, "Well, the aim is promotion, but we're just going to take it game by game and everything else." This is a sentence of a man that is under pressure, and he knows it after losing a 2-goal cushion against Swansea, taking the lead both times against Swansea, I should say. This is nothing more than a man that is under pressure. Now he's got to perform. He now has to solve the problems that we currently have, and we have problems, and you're blind to think that we don't. Once again, with this stat here, the points aren't pouring in like they used to, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I said as well after we beat Sheffield United, it would just be the lazy thing for us to do the hard work against Sunderland, Sheffield United, and then go on a terrible run. And I said as well, and I did say, I said, but I don't think that's going to happen to us this season. Cage, you never learn, do you, Cage? You never learn, but you know, it's one of these. Carlos here saying he's under pressure, just go for the Hail Mary, put Darlow in goal. By doing that, Carlos, though, he then says he admits that he's wrong. And what have we learned from this manager since he's been here? And even some Norwich fans did say this. He doesn't like to be proven wrong. He doesn't. Never forget the whole Peru and what was it? Peru thing at 10. Oh, he's not a striker. Well, what's Peru been this season, people? Yeah. Ryan here saying, for me, KG, if we lose to Luton, I think that could be it. Yeah. I look. Football Head says that we're not going to finish in the top 2 just by the form alone, but my heart won't let it go and say we can keep our top 2 spot. I mean, it doesn't feel like it, people, but we are currently joint second. But I'm sorry, you can't ignore red flags and form. You can't. That's the basis of sport, especially when it comes to league. You can have the better players, but when things are going wrong, like we saw last season, things just go wrong for a variety of reasons. Yeah, and now, listen. People talk about the Luton game, unnecessary pressure on it. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the result yesterday. It puts unnecessary pressure on an away game against Luton. We shouldn't have pressure on that game. We should have won yesterday, and then if we get a point at Luton, okay, we can accept it and move on to the next game. Now we basically have to go there and win. We have to go there and win to make up for yesterday's gaffe against Swansea. But also as well, the follow-up in this was one as well, which is just I'm not going to spend too long on it because I feel like I've touched it in previous comments. Farke has told his players to go away for 48 hours and forget about football, clear the head and be ready for the last 7 games. Guys, we've literally just come off an international break. Like, what is he talking about here? We've literally just come off an international break. We had a few players away, sure, and they would have cleared their head. They would have been glad to get out the pressure cooker that is the Leeds United promotion battle and go away with their international teams where they can, I'm sorry to say, play some very favorable fixtures and get their form back. Well, we're literally just back. And what we're saying is after a home draw against Swansea, The pressure, obviously, around it not being 3 points. They need to now have 48 hours away. I'm also going to have a couple days away next week, people. Not abroad. I'm going to go visit family, but I'm a fan. You know, I'm just a fan. Yeah, I can have a couple days away. These guys have literally just gone away. But look, if it helps, cool. But I'm just saying the mentality there for me is questionable. It's questionable after we've just come from a 2-week break, regardless of where they've been. Listen, some of them have gone to very nice climates. You know what I mean? Some of them have gone to very nice places to get away for international football. Very, very concerning. Not gonna lie. So finally here, and then I think this is the end. DF, it's not the time after the game to speak about such a topic, defenders' faith in Meslier, because he was asked about this. Do the defenders trust him? Doesn't matter if he says it next week that they trust him. They don't trust him. Just look at their body language after games and after goals he helps concede. They don't trust this goalkeeper. So I don't care what he says next week. He won't make a blind bit of difference to me. I don't need any hollow words to say that Joe Rodon believes in Meslier. Come on. He will suffer more than anyone after this. No. He does not need a manager on his back with comments about him. Everyone has seen what has happened. We win, lose, and draw together. And he's absolutely wrong again. It goes back to what I said earlier in that it doesn't matter for these guys. Sure, it will hurt their personal pride. Of course it will. But when it comes to the club, they don't care. And it's something I try and tell you all the time. Players don't care. They think about the next thing. When Meslier moves to his next club, when Farke eventually gets this job to the next one, he ain't going to be thinking, oh man, I should have changed Meslier that time. No, he's going to be focused on his next job, 100% involved in that. They don't care. So don't be saying stuff like he will suffer more than anyone after this. He also said that last season as well, by the way, in our collapse when Meslier was going on another wobble, that, oh, Meslier knows and no one is hurt more than him. Actually, he also said it earlier this season after the Sunderland one. No one is more hurt than Meslier. BS. Look, I'm looking in my chat now. I know how I'm feeling now. Meslier is not going to be sitting comfortably wherever he is right now thinking, oh, I must be better. I must be better with Daniel Farke selecting me. He's not going to be doing that. He's just going to get on with his day and know that he's the unremovable number one in this manager's eyes. He ain't going nowhere. So just absolute hogwash there from Daniel Farke. And that is it. Look at that. Just looking at the guy. Oh, boy. You know, and Baron Cross here. And it's something that I did see as well after the game. Maraf was sat alone after full time. And you just wonder. You just wonder what he was thinking. You have to wonder what Maraf is thinking. And on one hand, I understand that he had his faith in Daniel Farke. Farke's done it before. He failed the first time last season. He's gone with him a second time. I can understand it from Maraf's point of view, but he must be thinking, is this happening again? Have I backed the wrong horse here? Is he going to do this again? Because I'm sorry, once again, people, the point totals, all the records that he's been breaking, it doesn't mean anything to me. All these things about, the most points or the most clean sheets in a certain year, it doesn't mean anything to me. And I only speak for myself. I'm not speaking for you. I speak for myself. It doesn't mean anything at second tier level. You think I'm going to take it more serious that we've had a longer unbeaten run in the championship than going on a run that got us to Champions League football in 99-2000? Take a shot. I just mentioned it again. You think I'm taking any note of that? No, that should just be the vehicle en route to promotion. You're supposed to do that with the squad we've got in comparison to all the other squads in this league. That doesn't do nothing for me. It comes down to intricate details. It comes down to the minute details. And it also comes down to the blinding obvious as well. And he just seems to be bad at both things. Yeah, listen, I always say take a shot because I'll always bring them up at some point. But that's the standard for me. That's the standard. And for people older than me, they'll talk about when we won the league in the last team to win the league before the Premier League started, or, you know, the great teams of the 70s. You know, people still talk about that. Those are the standards that I still hold because, yes, the situations are different, but we've literally just had news about season tickets and there's 26,000 fans on the waiting list for that. The fans haven't stopped. The money hasn't stopped. Red Bull, we've got the biggest commercial sponsorship in championship history. All these things show me that we should be doing better than we are. All these things. And until that changes, I will move my expectations accordingly. But until then, we should be doing better than we are right now. Yeah, the 7, yeah, and yeah, a 7-0 win. Yeah, all these things, they don't mean anything. Look at last season with that brilliant unbeaten run we went on in the middle of the season. Are any of you still talking about it? For you drinkers, when you're at the pub, do you ever talk about, hey, remember the middle of the season where we went on that long unbeaten run where we weren't conceding goals? You don't, do you? You don't care because it didn't lead to nothing. It means nothing if the destination isn't at its final destination. It means absolutely zilch for me. Yeah, the 90-point nonsense, 90-point trophy. Yeah, man, it's shining in the cabinet. But yeah, look, and Baron also said here, run-ins always generate heroes and villains. The dialogues cast on Meslier. Farke's next move could decide his role. Well, Baron is someone that does get in the press conferences, and I don't know his voice, but I'm sure, is he a Geordie? I'm not sure. But the ones that aren't Adam Pope and the ones that aren't Graham Smith usually ask the questions that fans want some answers to. Those guys don't do it. They'll come back next week and say, hey, Daniel, is Patrick ready for a start? Will we see Bamford again in this game against Luton Town? Because he could be key in the run-in. We'll hear crap like that in the next one. Okay? But yeah, that is it for me. That is it for me. I was going to do this in a small recorded video, but I wanted to get you guys in the chat because I couldn't do this alone. I'll give you a spoiler. I did try and do this recorded, but I was getting annoyed with myself. So I said, you know what, man, let me go live and speak with the people. You know what I mean? Let me see how other people are still feeling, because I know sometimes what happens after games, people get annoyed at the result, but then the next day they'll go, you know what, man, it wasn't so bad. We didn't lose. They'll say we didn't lose, and we can now get the points in the next 7 games. It's still in our hands as we joint second at this point. That's usually what happens, but it seems the temperature is still where it's been yesterday, where people are just very annoyed. Oh, he's from Plymouth. Okay, my completely opposite end of the country. I don't know who that Geordie is in there then. My bad. Ian saying, watch your blood pressure. I'm cool, Ian. I will come off after this and I will relax. I will chill out and everything else like that. But it's annoying for me because we're making this a mountain out of a molehill. We shouldn't be in this position where we've got numbers like this in this league with the squad that we have. The squad that, once again, have to say isn't being fully utilized by the manager. You know, it's frustrating for me because there's blindly obvious things that we couldn't do to be better, and we're not doing them. All this thing about, look, let me just get the table up again. You know, joint second now, 81 points. Meslier alone, we should be in the 90s by now. We should be easily as well. Easily in the 90s points, and we're not there. But yeah, is what it is, man. I'm not, no, you know what? I can't say it is what it is because it's not is what it is. I'm annoyed. But look, we've got a week to go until the Luton game. I said, like I say, if I'm not back tomorrow, I'm probably gonna be away from Tuesday till around Thursday, and then we'll be back in for the Luton preview and everything else like that. But guys, yeah, we're gonna have to stew on this one. John, I'm not 100% certain that KG will be drinking Supermalt next season. Tremendous. Carlos saying here, 78 goals and not being top. That's what I'm saying. And once again, before we leave, that's why I can't hammer the players, because they've done their jobs for the majority of the season. They've overperformed. Not overperformed, they performed the way they should, and they've given us the rope. The defense, suppression as many shots as they have, so Meslier doesn't have to see the ball as much. They've done that. The forwards, whoever it is scoring the goals, whether it be Peru, our wingers, central midfield, defenders scoring, they've got the goal totals up to give us a decent enough cushion. But now those little details and our weaknesses are shining. They're shining very, very strong. And our weaknesses, I'm afraid to say, are Farke and our goalkeeper. And they are, and those cracks are very hard to paper over because they're so significant to the team. It's not like having a weakness at left back or in central midfield where you can get away with it. These are the biggest, two of the biggest things that you can have as weaknesses. But yeah. Well, on that note, guys, enjoy your Sunday. Hope you have a good Sunday. Enjoy, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, of course. I must call mine now and say Happy Mother's Day because I haven't done that yet. I will do now. I'm sorry, Ma. But yeah, like the video before you go. Listen, and big up for everyone that donates in terms of super chat, super thanks. Really does mean a lot. And guys, if I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you in a few. Okay, I'll see you in a few. Peace out.